Hello everyone, and welcome back to Star Trek Wolf-Rayet, a Star Trek Adventures 2nd Edition game using the rules by Modiphius Entertainment. My name is ELH the Game Master, and joining me are four lovely individuals who may or may not have split the party inadvertently at the end of last session. So let's just sort of go down the line and have them introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Caspian.
Hi, I'm Caspian MK1. I'm playing Captain Lance Gannon. And when I last left the ship, it was all in one piece, so this isn't my fault.
Okay, just it's been made. A note has been made in the log. All right, cool. Conversely, Whiskey, I think you might have something to say about that, maybe?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm Whiskey. I'm playing Captain Meridian, the 10-foot tall snake lady who's approximately 32 feet in length. And I accidentally split the ship in half. In my defense, it's because my previous work was done just too freaking good.
For those who are still catching up on last episode, they segmented off the holodeck and then decided to face cloak, and the holodeck did not go into the face cloak. So, you know, just holodeck floating in space. But we'll get to that in a moment. Kern, what do you got going on?
Well, I'm Kern. I play Commander Keshin, and just as a side note, isn't the snake getting longer, or is it just is it just me, or
The snake is getting longer?
I thought so. All right, so something to look forward to.
There you go.
More fur to protect.
There you go. And last but not least, we have Miss Food Cube. Food, how you doing?
Hello, everyone. I'm Food Cube. I play Lieutenant Mintz, the suspicious but not so suspicious Romulan pilot. She will be suggesting murder at every chance she gets.
It has been noted in the log. All right, let's run that intro video and then we'll get started. And welcome back. So as is tradition, whenever I run Star Trek Adventures, is I have the players do an opening log, today being a supplemental, and I believe Commander Keshin has that honor. So Kern, do your best, get some momentum, and let's see what happens today.
Alrighty, supplemental log, stardate 73014.1. Of securities log. I knew ensuring the safety of the crew of this ship in a largely unexplored Andromeda galaxy would be challenging at times. I certainly found a unique challenge dealing with an entity that has the ability to remind us how large this universe is. On top of that, having a captain, no, not that one, the other captain, seems inclined towards diplomacy, which offers additional challenges. Our emergency science officer is being held as a hostage, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this will be resolved. The captain and I are on the holodeck, trying to negotiate our way to a more suitable solution. I wonder what other surprises are in store. End log.
All right, you may have momentum for that opening log. And as I said moments ago, basically what has happened is the players once again segregated the holodeck away from the rest of the ship, so the holodeck has its own power, its own life support, etc., etc. And then since they rolled a complication on the phase cloaking of the ship, they put the holodeck out in space. And Keshin and Cannon, no idea right now. They are in the dark, literally, just floating on out there. Meanwhile, we have Captain Meridian and Lieutenant Mitz with the rest of the Wolf-Rayet. And I have decided to flip a coin in real life for this, so we are going to start depending on who wins the coin toss. So, captains, I need you to tell me heads or tails.
I'm a snake. I call tails.
All right.
Bad.
Cannon will have heads then. Congratulations, Cannon, you're our lucky winner. So, would you like to receive or play yourself?
I'll receive.
Okay. In that case, what that's going to mean is we see the view of the idyllic sort of rolling green hills, the garden, just the very nice bits of greenery everywhere on the holodeck. And the moment that the rest of the ship vanishes into another phased reality, because it was a phase cloak. It wasn't just a cloak, it was a phase cloak that Meridian and Mitz came up with. Two things happen on the holodeck. The first thing is that the arch that was there disappears, so the arch is no longer visible. The second thing that happens is your ESO sort of glitches for a moment, where, he kind of does that Voyager Doctor shimmer where it's like, oh, and then he looks very concerned. He says, Captain, I mean all respect, but what is it that happened to the rest of ship? The aliens are not very happy that they have lost contact with the rest of Wolf-Rayet.
I'm sorry, what do you mean the rest of?
Well, I don't know how to be telling you this, but you are trapped here much as I am.
Trapped here? Computer, Arch.
And the computer beeps and says, unable to comply.
Why not, computer?
That would be because there is no atmosphere outside of the holodeck.
I tap my comm badge and, Meridian.
Hey.
What
yes.
happened?
All right. So, what happened is I did my job too well. So remember how we isolated the holodeck?
Yeah.
So, when we activated the thing, the holodeck didn't come with.
And Captain Cannon just puts his hands on his forehead. Like, okay.
So, I mean, on the plus side, we can do our thing here. Maybe you can, try some more casual questions of diplomatic nature. I don't know, what their species are, how old of a civilization they are. Maybe trying some,
I get where you're coming from.
something not addressing the hard no of what we're trying to ask, And we'll do something else out here, I guess.
I trust your judgment and what you have to do. Cannon out. And Captain's going to walk back over to the emergency science officer and say, are you still functioning properly, being disconnected from the ship?
Well, yes, because technically my program exists on holodeck and with aliens in encrypted format, so as long as holodeck retains power, I should be okay.
I just pat him on the back. Good. So what is the name of this species we're talking to?
Oh,
Have
I
they
have
told you
tried to
that
get
yet?
that information many times, Captain, and every time they tell me it's not necessary to know.
Well, if they don't give me something to call them, I'll have to make up some kind of funny name to call them, like Steve.
I don't think they would have issue with Steve. They do not understand that Steve is common name to use among humans. So, sure, we can call them the Steve. Why not?
Excellent. Are they willing to negotiate in person, or they still want to use you as the intermediary?
They are very firm about me being intermediary, and that if any action is taken towards planets like before that prompted this whole situation, they will be escalating scenario as appropriate.
I really don't want to threaten anyone, but they currently can't detect my ship. We could be escalating right now and they wouldn't know it.
I mean, you make good point, but the Stevelians, sure, why not? We'll call them Stevelians. The Stevelians may or may not be very happy about that. But
Yeah, I'm not
Captain,
real happy they're holding you.
Captain, I must simply say this as point of order. I would understand if this was flesh and blood crewmen, like if this was Keshin, or if this was Mitz, or this was Meridian, I would be understanding of you wanting to go to such lengths to save them, but I am program, I am hologram. Surely the needs of the many outweigh needs of few, if you understand.
Captain Cannon puts his hands on his shoulder and go, I don't care if you're flesh or blood or force fields and photons. You're still a member of this crew, and we're not going to let them take you.
And as I stare at Captain Cannon's values, I am going to actually award you a point of determination for calling upon the value of leadership is not a rank, but a responsibility. So, Cannon, you have 1 point of determination back. Meanwhile, let's check in with Meridian and Mitz. So, Meridian and Mitz, what do you do?
Well, first I'm gonna pull up my holo console for all of my engineering functions and check to see if we still have reserve power, because we didn't roll for it last time. So
Yep.
we're just gonna roll for
And
that
I
now,
think that's a
and
no, unfortunately.
Looks a
One
lot like
minor
a no.
note, I should say, is that I think, because didn't it come out last week after our session, the handbook, or am I misremembering? Either way, the technical manual came out for Star Trek 2nd Edition, and it actually included rules for the proto drive. I can't remember whether or not it was there last week. Either way,
It was
the point
there last week.
It was there last week? Okay, then I'll just say it again, that having a proto drive increases your difficulty to get reserve power back. So, it's fine.
Yes, it does. All right.
Anyways, no reserve power, unfortunately.
Yes. So the thing that I would like to do first is because I don't remember, did we try and compare the encryption on the science officer with anything in the database at all? I don't think we did. I think we just went straight trying to crack it.
That would have been part of the process of cracking it.
Okay.
So, and if I'm remembering the rolls correctly, there was a big goose egg. Like, it just, you didn't get enough successes, and I couldn't offer a success with a complication, if I remember the chain of events correctly.
I feel like I rolled 0 successes or something. Okay.
It was like half the successes required, if I recall. It was like 2 successes, and we required
Alright.
4 or something like that.
Yeah, that's how I remember it, where it was just like, it was just too many successes off, unfortunately.
All right.
We were just able to tell that it wasn't a Starfleet encryption.
Correct.
That's fair. All right. So, myths. Since for some reason you're the only person who can see these things, I need you to try and fly us in slowly and try and approach the gas giants in the system and see if you can see anything on the visuals side of things. I am going to keep an eye on our passive sensors. They seem to really not like active sensors. And so I'll assist you in your navigation by remodulating the phase variance of our shields in case they figure out this is a phase cloak. They shouldn't be able to detect us unless they're on the same phase variance.
You got it, Captain.
All right. Mitz. Fairly good roll for you. Daring and con. Meridian may assist with a control and engineering.
Lovely.
I have to ask, Mitz, how close do you want to get? Do you just want to get in orbit of the gas giants? Do you just want to get, like, moon distance away? How close do you want to get?
What do you think, Meridian?
Let's try and get first just closer than where we were when we got warped around. Let's just see if they actually are able to detect us or not.
Perhaps close to the moon?
Sure. Yeah,
Just safe distance.
Safe distance, yeah.
Safe distance. All right. So what this is going to mean is 2 things. And the first thing is that this will be a difficulty of 3. The second thing is that as part of the new 2nd edition rules, when you move through difficult terrain, you have to spend at least 1 momentum for every zone that you travel. Unless you have a very cool talent called Improved Reaction Control Systems, but the Wolf-Rayet does not have that. So what that means is if you want to get closer, you are going to have to give me that point of momentum or a point of threat just to do it.
Well, I'll leave it up to you, Mitz.
If this were shooting people, it'd be easy. I
Tell
will.
me about it.
For real, I will be taking the momentum, and I will be using bold con
Treat.
because I'm afraid. I
Yeah.
am afraid.
Surely it'll be fine. Everything's fine.
Is it?
And then on my assist, can I interest you in a focus of subspace mechanics?
Sure.
Let's see if that's nope.
Well, that's an 18 for Meridian. Wow, a 17 and 18. We know how Meridian's gonna roll today.
Oh,
Well,
fuck.
good news, Mitz,
Well,
you can reroll that 20. You have bolt con. Reroll that 20.
I love bold.
Okay, there you go. You get your 3.
Yes.
There you go. So, narratively, what happens is you set a course to get closer to the gas giants, 3 gas giants that share the same orbit of the star, and you pass by that sort of delineation point where before, when you hit that point, you were instantly sort of whooshed over to the opposite side of the star system at an equal distance. This time, as you cross that threshold, there's a bit of turbulence through the ship. And if there were a holodeck, everybody on the holodeck would feel it, but it's just you and the other beta crew members that are aboard. So a little bit of turbulence, but then what happens is the view outside of the bridge, because again, the Protostar Bridge is pretty much open to space, it changes dramatically. And I don't just mean, oh, the gas giants turn green and start dancing. I mean quite literally what you're seeing is the interior of what is, well, a pot falling for one.
Yeah. That's what happens when we go through the
pipe.
area. Something wasn't.
Yeah, just, metal pipe. All right, there we go.
There's
Exactly.
something wrong in engineering again.
Yeah.
God dang it! I'll fix that later.
But no, what you see is the interior of like a Dyson sphere, where what you are looking at, if you were to like turn the ship around and look backwards, you would see that there is kind of this open aperture through which there is a swirling vortex of energy that is permitting you entrance into this Dyson sphere-like structure. Now, since you said you were using passive sensors, what I will tell you is that the structure around this swirling portal is out of flux, meaning that they conceivably can make these sort of portal apertures at any point in space that they wanted to. So if, for example, you approach from one direction, they could just whoop over there and change where that portal's location is. That's why when you tried to come at from the Z-axis, you got the same result as last time. However, one thing I will tell you is that you came in via phase cloak, so they don't conceivably know you're here.
Yes. So since
The whole idea, though, isn't it?
that is the whole idea, yeah. Since Meridian has literally been taking excessive notes on all of the contacts with basically everything that all the other ships have been. Words hard. Since Meridian has been taking literal notes on all of the other expeditions that are going on in Andromeda and is therefore highly knowledgeable about the race of species that attacked right outside the gate that one time. Since she's been cataloging all information about that and their technology, she wants to just do a quick check between what she's seeing outside and her records there to see if she reasonably thinks that these are the same.
Reason command? Reason engineering? Let's do Reason
I'll-
Command.
Okay.
Difficulty of 1.
Reason Command difficulty 1. Since this is a Dyson sphere that I'm looking at, that inherently involves power. Can I interest you in power systems focus?
No.
Any of the others, maybe.
Let me look. Nope. I don't think anything you have as a focus applies here, unfortunately.
Okay, I'm just gonna roll it. 2 successes.
Hey, 2 successes. That means a point of momentum. Yay.
Thank God.
Hey,
So, Meridian, looking at this Dyson sphere, this slightly out of phase Dyson sphere, as I'm going to start calling it. No, the species you're referring to in particular, and it is now common knowledge that it is the C vans, as in literally C plus a van, like a minivan. They don't seem to possess a technology such as this. That this technology is far beyond anything that the C vans are capable of.
Okay. See, that was initially so Meridian's reaction first is she's very calm as she concludes it's not those. But then she suddenly visibly is more uncomfortable as she realizes that we're dealing with something that is even stronger than the C vans. So she's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and give us red alert here. This place is certainly not gonna be safe if they figure out we're here.
Red alert is, of course, sounded. Everybody who isn't already at their stations runs to their stations.
So, I think we should try and identify where inside of here the signal came to lock our science officer. Because if we can figure that out, theoretically we could reverse it and unlock it.
I like where your head's at. So, this will be... Well, let me ask. Are you using active sensors for this, or are you still relying on passive?
I'm gonna try the active sensors, and then as soon as we're done, I'm gonna tell Mitz to reposition us.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty confident that the fact that we're phase cloaked means they're gonna have a difficulty determining our origin if they do conclude that something is scanning them.
Okay. So, I will be blunt. I will tell you that if a complication is rolled on this, they're going to know you're here.
That's fair.
And from there, it is a short walk to deciding, oh, wait a second, they phase cloaked. Wait a second, that's the same technology we're using right now, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But let me set you up for success, because Lord knows y'all need it right now. So, Meridian, you're going to be doing a reason and engineering. The Wolf-Rayet will assist you with a sensors engineering. And what I would point out is that the Wolf-Rayet has advanced sensor suites, which means that the ship rolls 2d20 on this assist. So congratulations on that. And then the difficulty. Since you said that the sensors were going to be active, I am going to lower the difficulty from a 5 to a 4. But I am also going to spend 3 threat to make the complication range a 17 to 20.
Okay, a 17 to 20. So
Does that apply to the ship as well?
Yes, it will.
Oh, fun. All right. Well, I don't see any other valid options other than going through this.
Well, the Wolf-Rayet came to play. That's already 3 successes. Good job, Wolf-Rayet.
Good stuff. Okay.
Big time.
And so I just need...
You just need 1.
I do just need 1. However, since I really don't want us to be discovered, I'm going to go ahead and this is an engineering check, so I'm going to go ahead with bold engineering, which means if I do roll a complication, I can make it go shoo.
And I get a treat.
I'm gonna give you 1 treat. And let's see. Do I have a? I don't think I can sway a focus on this other than Hail Mary power systems.
No, nothing here would apply as a focus, unfortunately.
That's fair. You know what? We're doing good enough. 3 successes.
That is 6 successes, meaning you get 2 momentum right back. Well done.
We're starting to have momentum again. Okay. Whew.
Indeed.
So here's what you find with your active sensor scan. First things first, you're not discovered. As far as you can tell, nobody knows you're here still, which is probably the most important part of this. The second part of this that's important is you are able to trace the origin of where the ESO is still being broadcast. And I'd like you to imagine that on the interior of the Dyson sphere, that where the gas giants would be, there are these very large, and when I say large, I mean colossally, stupidly big towers like we see in Star Trek Online in the interior of that Dyson sphere, but like 2 or 3 times bigger than that. Like it's absurdly, stupidly big. But the signal is coming from one of these gigantic towers, blocks, pseudo-planets, whatever you want to call them at this point.
Interesting.
Now, as a reminder, you can spend momentum or threat, it's a 1-for-1 spend, to ask additional questions. Alternatively, you could spend 2 momentum to create a trait relating to your advanced sensors and the ability to not be detected. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
I think that second one's probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Something like, I don't know, phased sensors.
Phase
So that
sensors.
our
Okay.
Yeah, like our sensors are able to scan just enough out of phase that they're still getting accurate information, but you're not able to detect very easily that you're being scanned.
Sure. Do you want to pay 2 momentum, 2 threat, 1 momentum, 1 threat?
I think we should, unless anybody else has any objections, I'll ask everybody else. I say we do like 1 momentum, 1 threat, and just keep some of the momentum that we still have.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Yes,
All right.
give him his treat.
Okay, treat.
Sounds
I'll take
good.
treat. Treat is good. All right. So, as you get that revelation, we'll go to the other captain. So, Captain Cannon, you've just kind of patted the ESO on the shoulder and said, "No, buddy, we're not leaving you." And that's where we resume the conversation.
So I start walking around the landscape and I'm talking to the chief science officer, like he's one of them. Go, so what is this landscape they've created for us here? Is this something they pulled from our records? Is this their homeworld?
Well, it's a bit of sentimental story. The person that I am named after, and yes, I actually have name. Nobody has ever asked, but I do have name. But overall, this was one of the person's favorite sites. That this was something, a sort of tribute to them that was in my program. So you are seeing a memory, I suppose.
Is this Earth?
As far as I'm aware, yes. This is a location in what would be the Netherlands.
Oh, it's quite beautiful. Quite beautiful. Surprised they pulled this from your data instead of just putting you on an empty holodeck.
There's a lot about them that I am not understanding.
You and me both. I don't understand why someone would keep a hostage. It doesn't seem like something that a modern society would still do.
Well, I do have theory on that, and for some reason they're letting me theorize, so I'm gonna keep talking and hope they don't shut me up.
Please do.
So, from what I've understood of them, they are very, very isolationist, very, very xenophobic. And they are using me as leverage because they do not want you to ever come back. They do not want to be known in this part of space. They wish to be left alone completely. And they fear that the only way to get you to comply with this order is to, again, use me as hostage.
Wouldn't it have been simpler just to destroy our ship?
I mean, that is
space a
option.
dangerous place.
I mean, destroying ship is option. They have considered it several times. I have talked them down from it several times. They have the capability to do it, sir.
Well, we appreciate you talking them down from that. I personally would not like to be destroyed today.
I second that.
That's 2 votes for surviving today. I'm sure the rest of the crew would vote the same. So how long have they been out here? Or can you tell me that?
I
Is this their
unfortunately
homeworld
cannot
that
be
they
telling
build
you
this
that.
place? Because you don't know, or they won't let you?
Yes.
Well, that's very interesting. Very interesting.
Because I find it funny, and I have 12 threat. Going to spend 2 threat to create the complication that there's a subtle rock in the holodeck, and all of a sudden the computer reports, alert, oxygen levels failing, life support imminently going offline.
Oh.
Who asked you? and Keston's going, yeah, oxygen's not a problem.
I'll turn around and is like, it is for me. I'm the one
I
who
know.
has to breathe.
I know. And you're the only one breathing the oxygen.
Yep. Well, I'm not going to leave you out here by yourself, so we're going to have to figure out another solution to this. Would they be willing to...
That's very thoughtful, Captain.
Yeah. I turn back to the ESO and I'm like, would they be willing to exchange you being a hostage for someone else?
No, because that would involve physical person going to their place, is what I can tell you. Whereas I am digital entity and I can be erased very easily.
Well, I think we're in a bit of a predicament here. Because they're going to kill me and computer. How much oxygen is remaining?
Oxygen levels at 85% and dropping. Estimated time to total voids conditions approximately 10 minutes. Recommend finding EV suit.
That's an excellent idea, computer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I walk over to whatever fancy panel they have there, flip it open, and give a manual arch to appear that doesn't have the door attached.
Now, of course, as we see in Star Trek, every once in a while there is that manual hidden sort of access panel on every holo program. It just so happens that, much like a hobbit hole, you just kind of move over to a little hill on the ground and just flip up a panel of grass, and, oh, look, there's a control panel. But you punch in some numbers, the arch appears, the doors don't open, but the arch appears, and you now actually have an LCARS to work with.
So I'm going to go over to the LCARS, and I'm going to see if I can access, if there is an EV suit in this area that I could access.
Okay. So this is going to be a control and a command. Pretty simple for you. I am going to say that this definitely calls upon your focus of composure. This is a difficulty of 2.
Using a focus. I think I can hit it with this. Let's see how I do.
All right, you get the 2 you need. So I have good news and I have bad news. Which would you like first?
Give me the bad news.
Bad news. No EV suits on the holodeck, unfortunately. But good news. Even you, with your engineering score of 2, think you know how to fix the life support problem. It's just going to require a little bit of, let's call it creative breathing.
Actually, couldn't we get the holodeck to create an EV suit?
You could, but it wouldn't provide the oxygen, unfortunately. Because it's a holographic representation of the EV suit, if that makes sense.
Okay, well, how about a machine that actually, like a scrubber?
I mean,
oxygen scrubber or carbon scrubber.
that's one of the possibilities of what you could do. So file that as like plan A or B, is making an oxygen scrubber.
Yep.
Option 2, the
Or
one I
carbon
was originally alluding to, is that somebody could spacewalk and fix the unit on the outside, if you get my meaning.
Oh, somebody definitely could.
If only we had somebody here that has their own breathing apparatus.
I've got my hand raised. me.
So I'm gonna type a few commands into the LCARs and have it create an airlock, a holographic airlock between us and the outside.
That's what I was thinking. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So he can and grab an engineering toolkit, because I'm sure there's one everywhere.
Yep.
Hand it to him and say, "Could you go outside and make sure I don't suffocate to death?"
I can do that, Captain.
Thank you.
All right. So, what this means is, Keshin, you cycle through the holographic airlock, and again, you're a Zaranite. You don't have to breathe in space. You are perfectly fine. So, as you leave the holodeck and you sort of turn around and carefully keep, like, at least in my head, I'm imagining that you are capable of moving around in 0G without an EV suit. At least that's how I would justify it. Like, maybe you've had boots on or something to that degree. But when you turn around to look at the holodeck, it's a very strange sight. And what I mean by that is it's like a one-way mirror where you can see into the holodeck, but obviously Cannon can't see out of the holodeck. And you're also noticing that obviously there's the EPS conduits and there's the holographic emitters you're seeing and the whole 9 yards. But what you clue in on, thanks to Captain Cannon's sensor scan there, is that the life support unit is on the opposite side of the holodeck. So if you came out on, say, the left side of the holodeck airlock, you need to get all the way over to the right.
Got it.
Which,
I guess I'll head over to the right.
which will require a fitness and a con at a difficulty of 1.
Ooh.
And I don't think you've got a focus here, so I think it's just a flat roll.
I don't think so. I don't have 0G flying here. Okay, so let's give it a shot. Ooh,
hey, 2 successes.
nice.
You get a point of momentum. All right. So again, using your boots or maglev technology, whichever way you'd like to justify it, you manage to get over to the life support unit. And the fix is actually very simple. You just need to duct tape it in the correct manner.
Okay. So I whip out my duct tape from the engineering kit and put it in the right manner.
Okay. Well, you're going to still roll because it could get you momentum.
I was wondering when the roll was coming.
Yeah. So this is going to be a control and engineering. Difficulty of 1. I believe in you. If you complicate this, I will laugh my ass off. I'm just going to tell you that now.
Same.
Well.
Okay, no, we came close, but that's still just 1 success. All right.
Yeah.
So you speed tape this thing, and in the actual holodeck, the computer reports life support unit functional, oxygen levels normalizing.
Yeah,
So did it work, Captain?
You can hear the captain breathing easy.
combat,
Like, yeah, we can. I can breathe for a little while longer. Go ahead and get back in here unless you find anything else out there of use.
Well, it's a great view there, Captain.
I'm sure it is.
I'll head on my way back to the doors there.
Okay.
To the holodeck.
Meanwhile, at the other side of the away team, Mitz and Meridian, you have the location of where the ESO is being transmitted and encrypted from. What do you do with this information?
Well, I think we should try and figure out if we can remotely cause it to be decrypted. It would be really not good if somebody has to go in there in person. So we should definitely see if we can figure out some method of fixing this remotely.
Okay.
Captain,
Yes, Mitz?
Captain. If I could suggest,
Yes.
would shooting the location with a torpedo be a good option?
Well, if they figure out we're here and we need to escape, that's an option. I would love to see if it's somehow possible for us to decrypt the science officer without them knowing. To, like, decrypt it, but force their computer systems to still read it as encrypted. That would be ideal. So, we should try that, I guess.
All right. So, just to let you know, this would definitely be a daring in engineering.
I'm great at those. I need to never say that sentence, knock on wood.
I was going to say, wait for the dice rolls. This would be a daring engineering. This would be actually, this could also be a daring con, so Mitz could definitely have a shot at this as well. Hell, even a daring security would fit here, now that I think about it.
May I assist?
Well, I'm getting to that. So, you have a choice of assists here, where obviously Mitz could help Meridian, Meridian could help Mitz. You also have the option of having the Wolf-Rayet assist you with a computers and either engineering, con, or security. And as a reminder, if you want both of those sources in assist, you just got to give me a momentum or one threat.
That's fair. I'm also sitting here thinking, I think the deciding factor is who would have focuses, because the ship always has a focus.
Oh, would you look at that? Nom Nom Roko is up. Hello, Nom. Thank you for the evil redeem. Let's use that immediately to make the complication range an 18 to 20.
Oh no, thanks, Nom.
Nom, I love you, but please.
Okay. Complication range 18 to 20.
Diff 5.
So-
It is a Diff 5.
Difficulty 5. Okay. And then does either Mitz or myself have a focus? Either one of us?
I believe Mitz has espionage as a focus.
Then I think
My beloved.
I think the most logical thing to do here is for Mitz to make the roll, and since the computer always has since the ship always has a focus, for the ship to assist.
Okay.
Unless Mitz thinks otherwise. I think that's what the
Would
play
this
should
be engineering?
This would be for you
Or-
a daring security.
Oh.
And for the ship,
It would be a computers and security. Now remember, it is a
How many
difficulty of
again?
5. Oh, yeah, no help
Difficulty
from
of
Wolf-Rayet.
5.
from the ship. Not
It's
surprising,
difficulty
mind you.
5, so you're probably gonna want a lot of dice on this.
Very true. May I use our momentum for this?
I say go for it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep.
Eat
Now
up
how
all the
much?
momentum.
Okay,
That
so that'll
gives
get
you
you
two extra
to
dice.
4 dice. If you
Probably
want the
wanna
5th
roll
die,
all
you gotta give me
5.
3 threat.
Whoo!
Probably
Woo-wee.
should. There's no recovering the amount of threat that is there at
Yeah.
this juncture. It's just gone. Just pretend the number is 0 at this point. It doesn't matter anymore.
It's permanently at number 10 and above.
Yeah. 10 is just 0 for this.
ELH, I will give you your treat.
Treat.
Praying. I usually roll good,
Well, now you've jinxed
I
it.
think. Well, shit.
no.
Okay. You know what?
Okay.
That's
Pretty nice.
okay. Well, so here's the thing. That is 4 successes with a complication because it was 18 to 20. So that 19 is a complication. However, I can offer you success with 2 complications.
Question.
Yes.
Does Mitz have the ability to re-roll anything there?
It's security, so no.
Oof, okay. Success with 2 complications? I mean, I say we
Or-
go for it. Oh,
Or alternatively, you could give me another threat, and Meridian could hopefully assist, getting you that extra 1. But there's still at least 1 complication here.
Okay. What are our
Better
thoughts?
than 2. Better
All
than
right.
2 complications.
Sure. Have a treat.
Treat.
And that treat. So there's no way to roll extra dice on
On an assist,
right?
no.
Assist.
Okay. So that's going to be daring engineering for me, you said?
Yep, and just the 1d20, and remember, complication range 18 to 20.
Complication range 18 to 20, and no focuses.
Correct. Okay, there's 5. So there is 5 successes with a complication.
All right.
So Mitz, since you're the star of the show here for a moment, tell me a little bit about Mitz's approach. Is this a Romulan technique she's using, like a tried and true Tal Shiar technique? Is this something like her grandmother taught her? Like what sort of angle are you approaching this hacking attempt from?
Given Mitz's history, I imagine this would be diving into her past when she was in the Tal Shiar. She would be using those skills.
Nice. So, Meridian, you kind of look over at Mitz just sort of typing in some commands and doing some hacking, and you're like, wait a second, I know that. That's Tal Shiar. Oh, no. And that's actually going to be the complication, that the computer does half of what you want, where you are able to decrypt the ESO, but they still notice. The aliens, the Stevelians, still notice. And the reason for that is because the computer was like, hey, wait a second, that's Tal Shiar code, hold on. So that complication actually is going to immediately reflect on the other away team.
Oh, fun.
So at this point, Cannon and Keshin, you're both back in the holodeck at this point. And the ESO once again flickers, and he says, oh no, Captain, I have terrible news. Well, maybe good news, but terrible news. I am decrypted, but the Stevelians are very, very angry. They are... I do not think there is appropriate word in English language that of how angry they are. Livid is understatement.
Well, we took away their bargaining chip.
Yes, they are quite literally locking stupid amounts of weaponry on this holodeck.
Well, they can
Time
tell.
for some
You can tell them
fireworks.
if they destroy this holodeck, there's nothing stopping the Wolf-Rayet from going to every single space dock they can find and announcing where a new source of dilithium's been found, and they'll have more than enough visitors to keep them busy. Or they can sit down and we can talk.
Well, Captain Cannon, that sounds like a presence command if I ever heard anything. With a focus in persuasion. Let me see, I have 14 threat. Let me see. I will spend 4 of that threat to make the complication range a 16 to 20. Difficulty of 4.
Can I use my determination with a value whatever it takes to survive?
Definitely. So that'll get you 2 free successes to start.
And what was the complication range?
16 to 20. And it is diff 4, so... But you are a human. You have faith of the heart, which means you instantly get a point of momentum.
Well, I'm instantly going to spend that point of momentum to get me a 3rd dice.
Okay?
And I'm going to give you 2 treats to get up to a 4th dice.
I will always take treats, all right?
And let's see what happens here.
7
Whoa.
successes. 7.
Oh,
That is
Good
impressive.
stuff.
That is the new Wolf-Rayet record of 7. So that's 3 momentum back. And at this point, the ESO, he glitches again, but when he comes back, he's not exactly frowning, he's not exactly smiling, but he doesn't sound as, like, under the gun, if that makes any sense. And he says, Okay, the Stevelians are willing to talk, but their first demand for peaceful talk is that the Wolf-Rayet must reveal itself, wherever it has gone.
So give up our ace in the hole.
Yes, they view it as a de-escalation, that if you are willing to show your hand, they will show you theirs. A leap of faith, if you will.
I'm willing to extend the olive branch. I tap my communicator and go, Meridian, please return and pick up the holodeck where you left it.
On the way, coming to pick it up now. Mitz, take us back and perform your best docking procedure with the holodeck, please.
By your command.
So, Mitz, how's your flying?
It is one of the best.
Okay. Controlling con. Difficulty of 4.
Okay. Okay.
Complication
Bridge to-
range 16 to 20 with more threat spend.
Oh!
Bridge to holodeck 1, prepare for docking.
Oh, boy.
And, you
All
know,
right,
just
I think, Captain, we should put a whole bunch of pillows in here just in case.
No,
I'm
no.
expecting it to be
Turbulent.
perfect, except you docked us with it backwards somehow.
It could be backwards. It could be upside down. It could be halfway
It's a
phased
spherical
through the
holodeck.
deck. You know, it's fine. But yes, difficulty of
Captain
4, so you probably want some momentum here.
Captain Canada is going
Yeah.
to sit down just to be safe.
Want to use momentum.
Yeah. May I use the momentum, please?
Please do.
Sure.
I beg
Oh.
you to connect
Please.
this together.
But as a reminder, you have to give me at least 1 threat to trigger bold con.
So let's make it 2 momentum.
And 1 treat.
I'll,
Okay.
I'll throw you your treat. I'll throw
Okay.
you your treat.
I love my treat.
You got this, Mitz.
Whoo!
There you go. So that's actually
Damn.
only 1 complication, which if you use the momentum you just got and your stored momentum, you can get rid of that complication.
I say we do it.
Okay.
Get rid of that complication.
So, in a feat of piloting brilliance and engineering brilliance, because you both are having to coordinate this massively to get the holodeck not only lined up where it should be, you're also trying to figure out how to reconnect it when the phase cloak kicks off. This is the kind of stuff that if you really wanted to, you could write a paper for, and Daystrom would give you like 6,000 awards because it's amazing.
Meridian will actually be writing this paper after the end of the episode, then submitting it.
There you go. But narratively, what anybody else sees is that the Wolf-Rayet phases back into reality, and the holodeck is almost perfectly where it should be. But I have 9 threats. I'm going to spend 2 of it to say that the holodeck is upside down.
Well, instead of coming out on deck 15, we'll be coming out on deck 17?
Something like that.
Or 13, I should say. Yeah, 13.
I'm going to be
Going up.
completely honest with you. I'm leaving it like that.
Thank goodness I'm not in the holodeck.
No
Well, the
one
best
can
part-
make me fix that.
The best part is the people in the holodeck have no idea. So when they say arch and they walk out, they're going to be looking at the ceiling that is the floor.
For at least 1 second, anyway.
Yeah.
When they hit the floor.
But yeah.
As Captain
sorry, you go
Canada
ahead.
hits the floor, he's just yelling, Meridian!
Here, yep. We reconnected it.
But the good news is that when you do step out of the holodeck, the ESO does follow you and say, very well, the Stevelians, or as they are actually known, the Gix, G-I-X, the Gix have said that they are willing to compromise, that as long as we erase all navigational data, any sensor scans we may have taken, and we leave without ever coming back, they are very much willing to let me go.
We will agree to that.
Yep, sounds perfectly good to us.
Very good. I just need to see the commands being entered and to confirm that things have been erased, and then we can get the hell out of here.
So the captain's going to walk over to a pad on the wall and just start, typing away, just deleting the last, 2 days worth of data.
Okay. Now, as I stare at values here, can I make something happen that is interesting? Nope, can't
Fear.
tempt Keshin with something. Let's stare at Mitz.
Fear.
No, Mitz, you're good. I can't tempt you with any of your values. Let's look at Meridian. No, Meridian, no values to tempt you with there. Yeah, I think this, unless somebody wants to act wildly out of character, I think this just happens, that the data is erased. Oh, you know what? 2 threat. The data related to your reintegration of the holodeck under Phase Cloak, that has to get erased too.
Yeah, that's fine.
So unfortunately, it's one of those, hey, did you know I did this? Do you have proof? No.
You built it once, you can build it again.
Well, I do have to do it again later to put... You know what? That just makes me fix it later. Because it is upside down.
It is upside down.
I'll write the paper when I put it in the right way.
But the ESO takes a look at these commands being executed, confirms that his own memories related to this will be modified as well. It says, very well, I will see you in less than a second. And his hologram winks out, and then reappears on the bridge. And he takes a look around and says, please state nature of scientific emergency.
The holodeck has been integrated upside down.
Well, how in the hell did you manage that?
Very, very skillfully.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is saying in old shipyard that if something is broken in such a manner, that this is good fortune for the rest of journey.
So I was
that's
actually
good
tempted
news.
to say set up here, but I was curious.
Yeah. And then, yeah, if you want to stick around and mess with the Gix some more, you can, but you can finally leave with your ESO if you so wish.
I will order Meridian to leave a warning buoy for dangerous space ahead, so that no one else attempts to enter the system uninvited. Maybe that'll keep them from getting a few more guests.
Buoy deployed.
And please take us to the next system of interest. Maybe we'll find some nice people there that want to talk to us.
That makes sense to me. Hey, Mitz.
Oh, and please install some stairs on the holodeck now that it's upside down.
All right, I'll take care of that. Mitz, light it up.
By your command.
All right. And the Wolf-Ray jumps to warp. And as we pan away from it for just a moment before returning to a little bit of fun, we see that the buoy is actually destroyed moments later by a very familiar ship if you've watched the Amateratsu's opening, where the Sevens, they were there the entire time. They got records of all of that.
Oh, no. But we don't know this, do we?
Nope, you have no idea.
Oh,
but for the viewers at
no.
home, we have to give them treats too. So, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But before we end today's session, I wanted to do just a little bit of a fun activity where we got to know a little bit about each character. And what I mean by that is I kind of want to just go down the line and just hear what a pastime is that your character engages in. And we'll start with Captain Cannon. So what does Cannon do for fun? What is off-duty work? Well, what is an off-duty hobby that Cannon would have?
Well, Captain Cannon doesn't like to spend too much time alone. He prefers to be out amongst the crew. But one of the things he has done is he's gotten 2 other crew members together, and they formed a little band. And Picard plays the flute, and Riker plays the trombone. Cannon's going to play the electric guitar.
Okay,
Nice.
I'm going to add electric guitar to your pastimes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how good would you say you are? Are you thrash band? Are you heavy metal? Like how good are you?
Classic
I'm,
rock.
I'm like, aging dad's, garage band level good, where I could play a bar, but no big venues.
Okay, so your journey, got it. All right, so that is Captain
That's
Cannon.
Wow.
don't stop believing.
Yeah, don't stop believing it all. Let's go to Commander Keshin next because I don't even know how to say your pastime. I want to know what this thing is. What is this thing that you're supposedly riding on the holodeck?
Berbot Daha.
Berbocha.
It's
Okay.
it's a creature native to Zeronite.
Oh,
We capture them, and I figured might as well ride them too.
so are they like bulls? Are they like a giant slug? Like what do they look like?
Maybe like a large cross, I guess, between a horse and a beetle kind of thing.
Beetle
They got
horse.
hard care.
A
Beetle horse.
boarse.
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna remember it as boarse because that's how my head's gonna remember it. Okay.
There you go.
As would
Yeah.
mine.
Oh, Stu asks an excellent point. Do you connect with them Avatar style, where do you like connect your mask to
No.
like the back of their head or
No.
something?
We just end up domesticating them.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Domesticated.
Training them how to ride.
Cool. Also, it is the holodeck, so you can just have them be domesticated to start. But maybe that's half the
Well,
fun
yeah,
is domesticating them. What do I know?
But I mean, on the home planet, we domesticate them when we capture them there.
Okay, cool. I've made a note. Let's now go to Captain Meridian. Now, I know your pastime is seductively looking at the proto drive, but what else do you do for fun?
Yes. So one of the great things about Meridian is she has not had a day off in 10 years because she doesn't really need to sleep necessarily as long as the temperature is not, too freaking cold for the snake girl. So, as the first shift, she's the chief science officer. Shift 2 and 3, she's technically like the actual captain of the ship. Uh, and during any actual downtime she has between any of those actual activities, she's usually messing with one of her pads or her holographic display. And she's usually just like designing starships and various other spacecraft and occasionally ground vehicles. That's the closest thing to a like not working activity she does other than staring seductively at the protodrive.
Okay. I have made a note. And last but not least, Miss Mitz, what is your pastime or hobby?
Let me paint you a picture.
Okay.
Holodeck. Dark, cold environment, possibly a rainforest. Mitz is currently in combat with multiple holographic Talshiar agents. Training. Using one dagger.
Interesting. Trying to figure out how we can put that in just a quick pastime blurb. How would you put that as a pastime? Because I like what you're saying. I'm just trying to condense it.
Holodeck
Calisthenics
Talshiar
program.
training.
Yeah, we can just call it that. Holodeck Tal Shiar Training. Cool.
She doesn't want to get rusty.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And just for my notes, would this be a Romulan dagger she's using, or is she maybe stolen a Diktog from a Klingon?
I want to say Romulan, because she still has her roots.
Okay. Now, we're going to go in reverse order because we are going to be introduced to someone in the supporting character cast. Because we have other people on the Wolf-Rayet, but this is the first time that they're maybe being seen on screen. So the first character I want to have Mitz be introduced to is our, what is their name? Lyra Serenity. Whoever made Lyra, can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yes.
And just what are they doing on the holodeck as they interrupt Mitz's sparring time?
Yes. So Lyra Serenity is basically a spider girl of sorts. She's got the like lower half spider, upper half humanoid going on there.
So a Drider.
Yeah, exactly, Drider. And yeah, so she loves to basically do like zombie apocalypse stuff on the holodeck, where she just tries to take on as massive, large hordes of enemies at once as she possibly can, be it literal zombies or just sometimes if she's feeling extra brave, a giant horde of angry Klingons. And then if she's feeling something a bit more casual, then she'll do like some kind of mystery novel. But those are pretty rare days when she's just not really feeling like spending a crazy amount of energy.
Gotcha. And what accent should I use for Miss Serenity?
Let's go with well, I think it would be very funny if she's got like a sort of Southern Belle kind of accent, because I'm terrible at them.
I got you, fam. I got you.
So I think that'd be funny too.
Mitz, you're in the middle of dealing with holographic Tel Shiar when the arch opens, and in steps Miss Serenity, Lieutenant Serenity. And Serenity says, "Oh, my apologies. I did not have a notice outside the holodeck that it was currently in use. My mistake. I can always come back later."
On hearing that sound, I would think it's another of the holographic Tel Shiar and accidentally throw the dagger towards her direction.
All right, this is exactly what I wanted. So, Mitz, if you could roll me a control and a security difficulty of 2, you want to fail this.
Pairing? Do I? Can I use espionage for this? I want to.
Go
Yes,
for it.
yes, you
It's
can, but it
funny.
is a control security, not a daring security.
Control security. Literally my highest attribute discipline.
Yep.
How many do I need for this?
You don't want any.
Okay. Well, we're going to be introduced to the doctor anyway, so it's fine.
So true.
Okay, all right. Hey, that's one success, which means the dagger does miss. It just embeds itself into the arch, and Lyra goes, "Oh, my apologies. Oh, dear me, I do apologize. You know, bless my heart and all that. I didn't mean to impose."
Oh dear, I thought you were another of my holographic Tal Shiar agents.
Is this what you do to Tal Shiar agents?
Friend and foe. Can't really tell the difference these days. Since.
And Lyra just sort of looks with her multiple eyes over at the dagger, starts backing up very slowly, and says, I'll come back later. Enjoy your holo novel." And runs away. So that's Serenity. Let's now go to, because we're going in reverse order, let's go to Captain Meridian doing engineering things. We have a CMO listed, but I don't think we've made the CMO yet. So let's maybe generate them in the moment. Do we want to do the funny thing and just make them a Tellarite that I have to use Sean Connery for?
It's always funny.
Okay. So let's see. We need a good name. Let me think. Tellarite name. No, we can't do Targ because that's a Klingon thing. Warg. We can use Warg. His name is Warg. And he's a commander, and he's a Tellarite. All right. So Commander Warg leaves sickbay, finds Meridian in main engineering, staring seductively at a warp core while working on engineering things, and says, Now, Captain, I want to make it abundantly clear that you are to take a full day of rest whenever we get back to the Amaterasu. I will make it in order you can't refuse if you do not comply. Do I make myself very clear?
Fine, Doctor. Fine.
Now, you've said this before, and I've had to literally sedate you in the past, so do I need to get my sedative belt, or are you actually going to behave?
I can behave. I'm sure I can find a holodeck program that technically meets your clarifications of taking a day off.
No, when I said day off, I meant sleep. I didn't mean go gallivanting around the holodeck.
I don't need to sleep, Doc. I am fine
No,
as
that
I
is
am
a lie.
now.
Cephalus do need sleep. You do need rest every once in a while.
Fine.
And he does that kind of like eye thing where he points at his two eyes, then points at your two eyes and says, remember, do it or sedative belt.
Okay. What if I just sleep in engineering? With she looks over at the proto drive. You know, I'm nearby.
I don't care how you get your rest, only that you take your damn rest for once.
Put a hammock up in the prototype drive area.
She just like wraps her tail among the freaking warp cores.
There you go. All right. So that's Warg, our new CMO. Glad we have him. We're now going to go to Commander Keshin, a little bit desynced, where we're coming on you riding your Borses or Burbotjajas, which I still butchered, but I got close. Burbotjaha. Okay, there we go. So you're in the middle of riding your thing. You're riding the thing. I'll get it right eventually. But in steps another one of our supporting characters. Now, Whiskey's generated one. I've generated one. I'm actually going to go to Caspian for this one, and that's going to be Mitz. You're going to make the next supporting character. But Caspian, who walks in on Keshin in the holodeck? What species, what rank, and what generally do we know about them?
Well, to use a species I don't think I've ever used before, how about a Binar?
A Binar,
Ooh.
okay.
Well, that's technically two.
It still counts. Let me see. Binar name. What are they named? What are they named?
I can give it a name.
1001112.
I might not get the correct order, but yes, we will name them in binary. Well, I guess trinary, technically. All right. What rank are they?
Let's make them an ensign. Like
An
lowest
ensign.
rank crewman on the ship.
Okay. And what is their assignment on the Wolf-Rayet?
How about in charge of they're in charge of like the vehicle bays.
Okay,
The
they
construction
are.
replicator.
Okay, so they are your transporter and replicator chief. Cool. And I'm trying to think, what do binars sound like? I guess they kind of got that binary chant thing going on, which I'm not going to be able to replicate. But Keshin, you're riding your Babotjahaz when in steps 101102 and 03. And they look at one another, then they look at you, and the first one says, "Oh, that is a very interesting animal. What do you call it?"
It's a Burbotjaha, ensign.
Interesting. Is it purely for entertainment that you ride this, or does it serve as a pack vehicle as well?
Both.
I am very much interested to learn how this animal works, and if it can be put to use in logistics scenarios. And then his fellow, 03, says, "I concur. This could be a very enlightening experience."
Well, let us start off by the beginning then. I shall bring in a new program where we capture one, and you can train it yourself.
That would be very good. Yes, I concur. I would like to tame one of these fine beasts. Yes, they are quite fine, are they not? And we'll see how well they do next time. Because now we're going to go to Captain Cannon in, I guess it would be the main, I guess the only cafeteria on the Wolf-Rayet, because that's really the only other space that would be open enough to have a band in. So, Mitz, or Cube, Cannon said that this is a band, so there's obviously more than just the captain on electric guitar. Who's on the keyboard? What is their species? What is their rank? And what do they do?
ELH, you give me too much power for this.
I know I do.
An annoyed Vulcan.
Okay.
Yes, that is amazing.
What rank are they?
I want to say Chief Petty Officer.
CPO. Got it. And what is it they do on the Wolf-Rayet besides playing keyboard?
I want to say... that's tough. I don't want to say security again.
Let me think. What roles? Oh, you know what would be really funny? Make him the ship's counselor.
Make him the ship's Make him the ship's counselor. Make him the ship's counselor. I am going to annoy him.
Okay. And we need an appropriately Vulcan name. Let me think. Oh, by the way, I meant to ask. She, her, he, him, other?
Make him an old man.
Old man, of course. It's Cube. Why did I even ask? His name will be Vlin. V''Lin. Okay. So, Captain Cannon, you're jamming out with Chief Petty Officer Vlin, and he actually stops mid-bar and says, "Captain, I find your playing of that last chord utterly illogical. It is a 4x4 beat, not a 4x8 beat."
Valen, it's called rock and roll. I've sent you many vids on it. You know, it plays differently than the Vulcan stuff. You said you were cool with it.
I am cool. I am the epitome of cool. Look, I even wore the leather outfit you wish to have us wear when we perform. He gestures at himself, and it's literally just a Starfleet uniform with a leather jacket on it.
I need him.
I've got a similar leather jacket, but mine's got 4 pips on it.
There you go.
Right,
Now,
let's
I believe...
take it from the top again.
Yes, about that. Why are we repeating the same song? We have played Wanted Dead or Alive, I believe it is called, or something along those lines. We have played that 6 times in a row. Are we practicing for a performance?
Have you learned the other songs I've given you yet?
Of course. I am Vulcan. We do not take our hobbies half-assedly, as you would put it.
Well, then let's try the second one that I gave you.
Ah, yes. What was it again? Oh, right. Of course. Living on a Prayer. Who could forget that lovely human tone? And the sarcasm on that, I don't think I got clearly enough, but just dripping with sarcasm.
Put him in a maid outfit.
That comes later. Oh. But as we do see finally little bits of the supporting cast, which we will once again see in future episodes, I do think that is a wonderful point to end today's session on. As the Wolf-Rayet drops out of warp, we see the U.S.S. Amaterasu, which is the Odyssey class, acting as the base of operations for operations in Andromeda right now. And the Wolf-Rayet just sort of flies up next to the Odyssey and starts exchanging data it has. But that's where we'll end today's session. Yeah. So I hope you all had fun. Like I said, I was really worried where this could have gone. Because I think Meridian, you had what, like 6 different ideas that got progressively worse.
Yeah, one of them was breaking the temporal prime directive.
Okay, I'm
Vetoed that
interested
one
how that.
first.
Now you can't just say that and not tell me what you had in mind.
Okay.
Really?
So the thought for that one was since we have temporal shielding, that means we have a chronoton generator. I could then redirect the chronoton generator to pipe the chronotons into the transporters to then make a temporal transporter. We could then get a beacon, put it on there, code it to warn us to not enter the system. Then I would attach the information for how we built the phase cloak with me and Mitz, because Meridian knows enough about how she designs schematics that she would be able to deduce whether or not it's a schematic that she had anything to do with or not. So she'd be able to validate that it is in fact at minimum a schematic that she made, and therefore would likely believe that the message is in fact from herself. Therefore, she would then redirect the ship out and not enter the system. She would then be smart enough to know to beam the probe aboard, and then configure it and temporally transport it herself to warn herself.
Okay, that was
therefore
actually my
close the
question.
time
How
loop.
did you resolve the bootstrap paradox? Okay,
Yep.
interesting.
Yeah, so that was going to be the thing there. Obviously, it hinges on the fact that we disable our own temporal shielding, which is a very, very uncomfy thing to do. But hey, you know what? It probably would have worked.
Maybe. Who knows? Though I do like Mitz's idea of, why don't we just shoot a torpedo at it, Captain? Let's just...
Yes.
I actually like that idea. I was thinking
My one
cobalt
solution to
torpedo.
everything.
Related to Mitt's solution, the absolute last item on my list of plans was just blow up the sun.
Would have worked.
Ooh.
Would have killed trillions and trillions of Gix, but it would have worked.
And then
They
she'd
were
court-martial
assholes to us
herself.
first.
Yeah, but I mean, there's being an asshole, and then there's war crimes.
Yeah. I know there's the
Can't
mission
see the difference.
Like, I know we do. So for people who don't have access to the Wolf-Rayet sheet, I did give them a classified mission directive that is, don't allow the Wolf-Rayet to fall into enemy hands by any means necessary. And they were very much of the opinion that the ESO counts as part of the Wolf-Rayet. So would genocide be justified? Technically, but we would have totally had to do like a court-martial episode or something to hash
Sure.
that out. That would have,
Which would have
could
been very
interesting.
fun.
Yeah,
Would've been
maybe
the
we'll
last
still
thing
do
we
that
ever
just as a treat. I'll just spend 6 threat more in a court-martial now or something.
That will be my villain arc right there.
You don't have 6 threat, you only have 5.
This is true. I'll have to get another
Andromeda
threat
Q.
somehow. Yeah.
Andromeda Q just puts us in a court-martial.
Yeah, just snap. Why are we here? Oh, we're in a court-martial for some reason.
Whose ship is it now?
Is my supporting character the CSO?
Yes.
Great.
Well, no. There should be one more open. SP3 should be
Yeah.
open and
Yes.
available to you.
Right.
And I wanted to actually, yeah, you are right. Let's rewind a little bit. What is your supporting character that you have made?
Well, I haven't made one, but I mean, I can on the fly.
Okay.
That was so.
And
I
if
was
you need
thinking
a
of a
hint,
nurse.
as I look at our roles, you don't have a ship's cook yet. Could be funny.
So I thought about that, and then I was thinking of a nurse too.
Nurse would be good.
Nurse
would
could
be
be a good
interesting.
one.
Yeah. Make her a lieutenant,
Okay.
and then what species?
Well, let's think.
Denobulant. Denobulant.
Denobulant. Okay. Classic.
Yeah. She'll be a mama figure.
Nice. I don't know how I'm going to voice a motherly, matronly tone, but sure, we'll go with it.
Channel your mom.
I don't
Oh,
think
maybe don't.
nobody wants that.
Yeah, no, nobody wants that. God,
No,
I was
no,
thinking
no,
that too.
no.
Yeah, so
Nobody wants that.
we'll call her Trina. A nurse, yep.
Nice.
And then,
Cool. So now I think everybody has made a supporting character, I think. And if I skipped you, just shout and we'll fix it. But yeah, now that we have everybody made, we have a supporting character. Now's where we're going to end the session. So Twitch stick around because we're going to raise somebody, but YouTube, we'll see you later. Bye-bye, YouTube.